Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is part 10 of What If Naruto Became the Green Lantern. If you guys enjoy this what if, and want to see part 11 of it, comment down below, and let me know. The like goal for this video is 200 likes. So like this video, to let me know that you're interested in this series, and you want the next part. Check out my new videos of My Hero Academia what ifs in my second channel, and give it some love as well. Link is in the description. And go ahead, and check out other what ifs in the channel. Before we start, please do support for more awesome content. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like, and also share this video with your friends. So let's start this video. Antimatter Universe, Cord, Sinestro sat, brooding in his ornate black and yellow chambers. To say that he was not happy with the way things had gone with Betrasus was an understatement. The Kundian's losses were heavy on both the planet's surface and orbit. Additionally, he had lost not one, but two of his core members, one of whom was among his best fighters. Fatality's loss alone was a blow to his troops' morale. Sinestro, said the voice of Lissa, that came from his ring. What is it? He grumbled, running his right hand over his face. You wanted to be notified when Orochimaru returned from his mission. He just arrived, and is in the Guardian's laboratory. She responded. Very well, he said, standing up and flying to the tower. One thing that Sinestro knew about Orochimaru is that he got results when he needed it. Since his arrival, Orochimaru had gone on missions even he himself would not have dared. This one, however, was by far his most public. Previously, the Ajnian had been assigned to covert missions, from sowing the seed of deceit and having other races join forces, to assassinating officials to help replace them with ones more in line with Sinestro's standards of order. Planting the seeds by trying to discredit the Green Lantern Corps any way he could. However, he had noticed that Orochimaru seemed uncannily familiar with Scar. Ever since he took his new body, the two were often in her lab going over experiments and theories about his people and their chakra network symbiosis with power rings. It also made him wonder what else they were talking about. That was his thought as he opened the doors and entered the lab. For once, Sinestro, would it kill you to knock before entering my personal chambers, said Scar as she read notes. Where's Orochimaru? He asked, ignoring her question. Why do you ask? She questioned back. You know why. He had a mission and I need to debrief him. Especially given certain events, said Sinestro, growing more irritated with the Guardian. Naruto tends to do that, said a voice from behind him. He turned quickly to find the one he sought standing behind him. As a result of his new body, Orochimaru's appearance had not changed in the 2 years since he joined. The only difference being that he now kept his hair in a ponytail. Sinestro had never been one to show fear. He had to master it to be this core leader. Yet every time he looked at this man, he felt a chill run down his spine. Whether it was the predatory smile, or the strength he possessed that caused it, he didn't know. Perhaps both. He thought to himself. You were supposed to report back when you arrived. Yes, I do apologize about that, Sinestro. The Guardian, however, wanted to check in with me first to see how the body she so generously gave me performed on the battlefield, said Orochimaru. Suffice it to say, it performed well, said Scar. As for the mission, I can safely say it was a resounding success. Talaran 3, a planet that had been rebelling against Kundian rule for centuries, I might add, is now once again under their control. King Karlach has expressed his gratitude, stating that both a substantial amount of credits that will be entered into the core accounts, and that this has helped solidify our alliance with them despite our recent setback. Orochimaru explained. Well done, said Sinestro, who was more than a little surprised to hear that. That will indeed give us time to help with our future endeavors. Especially since I asked the Kundians to record the battle as well. It should help strike fear, not just in the Kundian Empire, to set them in order, but also make that sector of space wary of us, said Orochimaru. Indeed. Though I get the feeling that you just wanted to be noticed, particularly by your fellow Ajnian in the Green Lantern Corps, said Sinestro. Did you encounter him on your way back? No, I did not, said Orochimaru as his small smile faded into a neutral expression. Something Sinestro noticed. Pity. I would have liked to see how your powers would have fared against his, he said, noticing the twitch in Orochimaru's eyes. It was only for an instant, but he could almost sense a twinge of fear in him when mentioning Naruto. In any case, good work, said Sinestro as he turned and flew out of Scar's lab. Sinestro has noticed your fear of your fellow Ajnian Orochimaru. It would be wise to hide it better, said Scar. If you knew the boy as well as I do, you would also be afraid. Especially since the event now known as the Betrician Blitz showed that his prowess has only grown since his induction into the Green Lantern Corps, said Orochimaru. Really? She questioned, taking a seat at her desk. I'm curious to know more about your fellow Ajnian. Your own abilities seem formidable, so I don't see the concern, unless you tell me. It's a long story, said Orochimaru. I'm immortal. I have all the time in the universe, said Scar, gesturing to the empty chair in front of her desk. Orochimaru grinned as he sat down, and told the tale of Naruto Uzumaki's rise to prominence on his world, and how it affects his success now. Earth, achoo. Naruto sneezed as he flew over Metropolis en route to Happy Harbor. Careful, kid. Don't want you catching cold on top of everything else that has happened today, said Kurama. I've never been sick, Kurama, so don't worry about that. Naruto grumbled. That was before you took this job. Who knows what alien germs you've gotten since then, said his partner. Naruto thought he was being a mother hen, but just grumbled and stayed silent. Neither of them were in the mood to argue. To say that he wasn't happy, to say the least. After he got done with his usual patrol, he got a call from Ganthet and Sade telling him that he was no longer assigned to Sector 2813 on the Council's ruling just after the team's first mission. It would now be under part-time rotation with a member of the Honor Guard patrolling it instead of him, essentially putting him under supervision of Hal and John. What made it worse was that Honor Guard member just happened to be Guy Gardner, who was possibly the most infuriating Green Lantern that Naruto had ever met. The man pretty much personified arrogance and cockiness. He had his good qualities, but the man was for the most part insufferable. On top of that, he knew for a fact that his diplomacy and tactics were sorely lacking. The only good thing out of this is that he will still be able to visit Ojnin once a month, so that should help fix whatever mess Guy makes of his sector. Kurama could sense that Naruto was thinking about it as he flew over the landscape. Look, Naruto, I know you're not happy about this. As far as I and many others are concerned, the council should have made you Honor Guard immediately after Betrasus, he said. Maybe. The real reason is that they still want to know about how I boosted my ring's power, and now they're mad that I won't tell them. So now they are trying to punish me for it. It's just inconvenient right now, Naruto responded. Ganthet and Sade will get it straightened out, said Kurama. Naruto stayed silent until they perceived what seemed to be rumbling and a plume of smoke out on a stretch of land off of Metropolis. It didn't take a genius to figure out what was happening. Finally, something I can hit, said Naruto, looking forward to a fight for once. Indeed. Kurama agreed with a grin. Naruto blasted ahead at full speed to the battlefield. Moments earlier, Dinalora Lance, known to the world as Black Canary, was now shaking the cobwebs out of her head trying to fight off unconsciousness. She could feel the pain in her left arm, but gritted through it as she managed to sit up. Remembering what hit her, with her own canary cry no less, she turned around to face the android. Said android just tossed Superman around, knocking Martian Manhunter and Red Tornado aside with his body, before throwing him aside and blasting two batarangs with Heat Vision Blast. Then it turned in her direction. She then saw the machine's eyes red, and fired right at her as she made it to her knees. Dinah heard her boyfriend Oliver, known to the world as Green Arrow, scream for her to get out of the way. But she knew it was too late as the beam closed upon her. Suddenly a figure stood in between her and the advancing heat beams. And in front of them was a green energy shield which she saw crack from the impact, but just managed to hold. She felt a pair of arms hoist her up, and found herself in the air as a second attack just missed them. She looked up to her rescuer. She knew immediately that this was a Green Lantern, but not one of the two she knew in the Justice League. However, having read the report on the team she was tasked with training, she still knew who it was from his custom uniform. Unusual as it was, with its light armor and face cover, he seemed to be a ninja. As Dinah examined him, Naruto gazed upon the heroine he had just dated. From his time on Ojnin growing up to now, he had met his fair share of women in his time. Strangely, without Jiraiya in his life, he found himself able to better appreciate beautiful women without having to need to be a pervert like him, as Tsunade greatly appreciated over the years. Nevertheless, Naruto could see that this was one of the most beautiful women he had ever met. Are you alright? The young man asked, making sure to maintain his attention on the droid. Dinah looked to see the clear luminous green eyes that she associated with John. But unlike John, this young man's eyes projected a certain sense of power that she didn't feel from the other lanterns. Looking down, she saw the crater that would have been her had the lantern not moved them. You probably get this a lot, but thank you, she said, smiling warmly. Naruto returned her smile, but maintained his focus on the situation. No problem, he said as she wrapped her arms around his neck as he descended to the scarred ground. She let go after landing and turned to Green Arrow, who ran towards them. He immediately took her into his arms. You okay, pretty bird? He asked. I'm fine, Ollie. Thanks to the Green Lantern here, she said as he kissed her forehead. Naruto sighed but smiled under his mask as the hero turned to his direction. Thanks, man. I don't know what would have happened if you didn't get involved, said Green Arrow. Don't mention it, Naruto said as the rest of the heroes arrived, including Superman. The android held its position, apparently deciding to keep its distance as its opponent's numbers increased. For those who haven't been briefed, this is the Green Lantern who has been assigned to the team, which you should be meeting at the cave, said Batman. Hey, I was in the neighborhood on the way to Mount Justice when I saw the fight from the distance. Mind giving me the scoop on what's going on? Naruto asked. We have the situation contained for now, said Batman. I suggest that you leave the area. Naruto did not like what the Dark Knight was implying with that tone, as if he was some rookie in the way of whatever plan that he was concocting to face the new menace they faced. We could the extra help right now, seeing as we're getting our asses kicked, Flash piped in. Getting more help is what got us into this mess, said Batman. The android in question has stopped attacking for the moment. Soon after the young lantern's arrival, Red Tornado pointed out. Let's at least tell him the situation first, said Black Canary. Batman turned to Martian Manhunter, Captain Atom, and Superman. It's not like anything else we tried has helped. Plus more firepower could be useful, said Atom. Indeed, said the Martian. At least let's give him the information on what has happened. Superman, he questioned. The Man of Steel just looked to Naruto. He just saved one of our own. I think he's earned a spot here, he said. Looks like you're outvoted, said Naruto with a smirk. Fine. Batman grumbled. About 1 hour ago this android appeared and attacked Green Arrow and Black Canary. From there Green Arrow called for reinforcements, which has since proven an ill-fated decision on his part. After I told him not to, since my power was the first ability that thing copied, said Black Canary as she glared at her boyfriend, who at least had the decency to look ashamed. In my defense, I didn't know that it could copy powers at the time, though I should have after being hit with Canary's cry. So basically, this thing here now has the powers of pretty much everyone who showed up to the distress call, said Naruto, seeing the problem. Yes, and it has had no problem so far in using it against, as you saw when it tossed me around, said Superman. Naruto wasn't sure how to feel about the big guy. He seemed nice enough, though for some reason had kept his distance from his clone Superboy. But he decided to keep being professional for the moment until the current situation was dealt with. So, we know its strengths. Any weaknesses? He asked. Well, it can only use one power at a time, and it takes a few seconds to switch from one to another, said the Flash. About as much time as it takes to speak what person's power it switches to in its monotone voice, said Canary, hold her wounded arm. Wait, it says which person when it changes powers. Isn't that strategically stupid, said Naruto. Yes. Although it can be used for intimidation, said Batman. Which you would know about plenty, said Kurama. So, powers only, no weapons? Naruto asked. The others nodded. Then it means that all we need is a moment when it's vulnerable, and take it out. Agreed. Most likely when it changes its power set. However, that is proven easier said than done, said Batman. Then maybe we need to improvise, thought Naruto. More like you need someone to divert its attention, said Naruto. Which will be me. Excuse me, the Dark Knight questioned. Naruto ignored him and called out to the rest of the heroes. Okay guys, I'm going to go ahead and fight that thing alone. And I mean alone. No backup, he said. Look kid, I don't, if you've noticed, but that thing tossed Superman around. You can't possibly think of going at it one-on-one, exclaimed Green Arrow. Whoever built this thing clearly had the Justice League in mind. That means it was counting on you showing him in force to copy your powers. This person, however, did not perceive weapons, such as my power ring, to be in that equation, Naruto explained. Even so, facing that thing alone with the powers it has is bordering on suicide, exclaimed Black Canary. I'm a tough cookie, I can handle a beating if need be, said Naruto. Besides, I'm not expecting you to stay on the sidelines forever. You're going to watch and wait. When the moment comes and the android becomes vulnerable, take it out. Superman, you're going to be essential for that part. I understand, he said. Good. You and Flash are the fastest we got here, but you have the more varied skill set. No offense, he said, gesturing to the red-clad hero. None taken. Besides, you're right, said the Flash. Any other objections, said Naruto. Despite what reservations they had, the group kept silent. With that said, I've got a robot to fight, he said as he strode towards the machine. Lantern. Black Canary called out, to which Naruto turned to her. Good luck, she said. Naruto nodded as he flew towards the enemy. We are going to need it. I mean, we are talking about a machine with the powers of several members of the Justice League, including Superman, Martian Manhunter, and the Flash. Guys, we weren't looking to pick a fight with under any circumstances, said Kurama. I know. Any recommendations? Naruto asked his partner. Use Tail Beast mode and end this as quickly as possible, the fox answered. No. Way too much to be shown, especially with Batman around to watch the thing. And don't suggest 9 Tails mode either. Though I'm glad you didn't mention 6 Paths mode, cause that's overkill. Naruto responded as he landed in front of the android, who took notice of him. Then at least, let's use Sage mode. Give me that much, said Kurama. Naruto thought on it for a moment. Yes, he had planned to keep the lion's share of his powers out of notice, double since his arrival. However, he had to give Kurama this one, since he knew that this fight would be tough. Very well, Kurama. Sage mode would be prudent at this point. Get into position, he told his partner. Already in it. Let's do this, said Kurama. Naruto closed his eyes as he walked towards his opponent. He could already feel the natural energy coursing through him and changing him. He could only hope this would be enough as his eyes opened, his uniform and ring giving off the now familiar glow as the ring got a power boost. The android, known to its master as Amazo, focused his sensors upon the approaching young man as he strode toward. It seemed to stare at him, almost as if trying to figure out what was going on with the lantern. Unknown energy detected. Not related to Green Lanterns. Attempting to duplicate. Error. Duplication failed. Recommended action. Initiate first attack. Joined its onboard computer. Access. Captain Atom. The machine said as it raised its right hand, opened the iris on its palm, and blasted an energy beam toward the young lantern. Naruto, now fully in Sage mode, returned fire. The two beams collided, but Naruto's overwhelmed the opposing energy blast and continued toward the android. Access. Martian Manhunter. It said. And then became transparent, the young ninja's attack sailing through it, and destroying the area behind him. That's going to be annoying, said Naruto. The mechanized assassin then used a mechanical version of Martian Manhunter's ability to stretch his limbs as benefit of his shape-shifting, and flailed them like whips at his opponent. Naruto managed to avoid them, flipping and jumping around the battlefield, simultaneously firing shuriken and kunai at the android, which avoided damage through density shifting. But as the android phased back, a shuriken exploded behind it, knocking it off balance for a moment. Naruto seized the opening, charging faster than the machine could counter, and hit it with a combination of a right and left cross, before finishing with a kick to the chest, sending it flying a few meters away. The robot's face plate had taken a few scratches, and the kick left a sizable dent in its abdominal plate. Before he could continue pressing his attack, the machine spoke again. Access. The Flash. From there it evaded Naruto's charge at super speed. Access. Black Canary. It said, extending its jaw, and Black Canary's sonic power was blasted at him. Naruto managed to form a arm of constructs to block out the noise, but was struck by the sound waves and sent flying. Shit. I thought her power hurt the ears, but it almost feels like I got hit by a truck, he thought as he recovered in the air, and landed to face the droid. Unfortunately, landing was the wrong choice as the droid sped towards him. It already had managed to get 5 super fast punches in before Naruto managed to raise his arms to block. Do something, kid, Kurama called out. Immediately following that, Naruto raised a barrier around himself, forcing the android to stop its assault by making some distance. When it tried to charge him again, Naruto took a page from Gar's ninja handbook and made spikes jut out of his shield. The spikes forced it back again. Then Naruto used a tendril construct to grab Amazo's left foot and pulled it back towards him before it could react. Naruto poured more chakra into his right fist and slammed it into the android's face, sending the machine flying and crashing to the ground 20 meters away. He's doing okay so far, he heard the Flash speak out. For how much longer though, said Black Canary with worry. Worry that was conveyed to the rest of the group, doing as the young man said, but anxious to get back into the fight. The machine stood up again with its face casing torn off. Access. Red Tornado. It said as the signature tornado that usually came from the robotic hero was generated by the death machine and twirled around with amazing force. Two can play this game, Naruto called out as he made his hand signs. Ninja art. Tornado field jutsu, he said. Soon he found himself with his own tornado surrounding him with equal force to the androids, much to the surprise of the heroes. Red, did you know he could do that? Questioned Green Arrow. No, I did not, said the android. It appears I have, as you would say, more than my fair share of competition. They watched on as the two tornadoes clashed against each other, the force of the blows sending more hurricane-like winds around the area. We need to make a move now, before this gets out of control, called out Batman. Give him another minute. I think he's up to something, said Superman. Using his vision, he could again see the ninja make more hand signs. Lightning style, lightning enhancement, Naruto called out. His tornado turned itself into a virtual lightning storm, with it seemingly combining with Naruto's own tornado. The next clash broke the androids, and it started to short-circuit as it was sent crashing to the ground. And just as fast as it started, it stopped with Naruto in midair. He flew straight down to the crater to which the machine landed, and raised his right hand once again, forming a massive Rasengan, and slamming it down to destroy the thing. Unfortunately, he was a moment too late. Access, Superman, said the machine as it stood and saw the attack. With that power, said it grabbed Naruto's attack with both of its arms as the sphere crashed upon it. With some effort it managed to send the attack upwards, pushing it away, and causing it to disperse. This propelled Naruto spinning in midair, and before he could correct himself he felt a searing pain as the android flew up after him, and slammed into his back. Ignoring the pain in his back, he was healing quickly. Naruto corrected himself as the machine blasted him with a stream of heat vision. Naruto once again blocked with his ring, though the force of the beam pushed him into the ground again, and smashing the shield. Naruto managed to stand, only see the android looming over him, and slam its fist down upon him. Naruto used his own arms to block, and force of the blow made small craters on the ground from the force of the attack. It backhanded Naruto, sending him spinning, but Naruto managed to reverse it by using his rotation to perform a spinning kick. Amazo moved back to avoid it, but Sage Mode extended the range of all of Naruto's attacks, so the kick connected anyway, staggering the droid. Naruto grabbed one of its arms, and threw it 100 meters away, where it crashed into the ground. Though its copied Kryptonian invulnerability allowed it to immediately get up again without damage. You have to end this now, Naruto. You cannot get into a slugfest with him with that power set. Either kick it up a notch, or get the league involved, said his partner. Don't worry, Furball. I knew that Superman's power set was going to be the toughest of the bunch. It's also what I was counting on. Naruto responded, taping his earpiece, breathing heavily from the fight. Superman, get ready. That moment I said was coming. It's about to happen. He panted. It better, cause you can't keep this up forever. You need to get us back in there, or you will die. Superman responded. Trust me, it's coming, said Naruto as he formed a normal Rasengan in his hand. He flew towards his enemy. It was then that Kurama caught on. Seriously? You're using that tactic again? The tailed beast questioned. It worked on the third Raikage, didn't it? He thought as Ymir was inches away, when the robot went to strike him with its right fist. Kurama could only pray to Kami that he was right. Thanks to the enhanced reflexes and perception of Sage Mode, he managed to dodge the attack, far closer than even the Raikages, and slammed the Rasengan into the machine's forearm. History repeated itself as the punch was redirected inward, shattering the android's entire left side. Not needing any more incentive, Superman flew with such speed that Naruto only saw a blur as he literally cut the machine's legs from under it. The twitching heap crashed onto the ground, its right arm holding it up. Assessing A, it sputtered. Accesses, exclaimed Naruto as he made an Ninjato construct, gripped it in both hands, and swept it down, cutting the droid's head off. From it spurted not blood, but oil from tubes and sparks from shorting circuits as the head dropped to the ground, the body falling with it. Naruto deactivated Sage Mode. His eyes returned to normal, and the glow around him faded. He suddenly felt so sore and tired he fell to one knee with his sword blade embedding itself into the ground to keep him from falling over as he caught his breath. Next time, use something stronger. I don't care if we get exposed or not, we are not going to hold back in a situation like this again. You hear me? Screamed Kurama. I will keep that in mind in the future, alright? Said Naruto, too tired to argue as he stood up while the sword disappeared. Good. Cause that was batshit crazy, said Kurama with a sigh of relief that his friend and host was alive. You alright? Questioned Superman as he came up to him. Yeah. Hurting and going to be sore, but I will be fine, said Naruto, still shaking out the cobwebs. But cause that was crazy. Granted, it worked out well, but still. The Man of Steel continued. Soon the others arrived to the side of the now destroyed machine as they carefully lifted and examined its parts. It was a good attempt, at least. If you want to make something to kill the Justice League, copying their powers is a way to do it. Still not enough that I didn't think I couldn't take it though, said Naruto. How do you figure on that, kid? Asked Green Arrow. Well, for one thing, it had your powers, but still fought like a machine. No room for improvisation or adaptation. Just going through a set of tactics probably pre-programmed, said Naruto. Agreed, said Black Canary. When me and Arrow fought, it copied not just my power, but my combat skills. Even so, I managed to surprise when I used a kick and followed with a scream, though when I tried it again it used my power against me, and the two cries clashed with painful results. She continued, grasping her arm. On top of that, the thing could only get surface scans of each of your powers. Hence why I wasn't turned to mush when it used Superman's power set, since he only uses about 10% of his full power, Naruto said. Superman looked at him in surprise. What? I do the same thing to a lesser degree. And obviously it couldn't use any psychic attacks from Martian Manhunter, since it was non-sentient with no independent thought, said Superman. To which the others agreed. Naruto couldn't help but notice that Canary was holding her left arm. Though she put up a tough face, she was in clear discomfort, and Green Arrow trying to comfort her wasn't helping. I hope I'm not being too forward, but could I look at? I might be able to help, said Naruto. Green Arrow and Canary looked at each other, but she just shrugged and took off her jacket enough to show her arm. From there Naruto could see a bad bruise on her arm. When the shockwave hit, I landed on my arm hard. It's not broken, just bruised, she said. Naruto nodded while trying his best not to look at how toned her body was. She's taken, remember that, Naruto. He thought to himself as right hand stared to glow green. Arrow went to his bow just in case. It's alright, said Black Canary, though she wondered what he was doing. Naruto paused, waiting for her permission. After she nodded, Naruto placed his hand over the wound. She grimaced for a brief second before the pain in her arm disappeared. When his hand left her arm, the bruise was gone. Thank you, she said, rubbing her arm as she put her jacket back in place. I didn't know Green Lanterns could heal like that, said Batman. They can't. At least not in this way. Our best doctor still needs the use of constructs for medicine and surgery, said Naruto. Which you don't need to form, among other things, he said, hinting at Naruto's performance. He then gestured for him to follow him, so they could talk alone. Despite the result, this was still a league matter. This android was targeted specifically for us, and the team was told that at present it is to handle covert affairs, said Batman. The team doesn't know what was going on with this thing. I just happened to fly by, and saw the debris from the fight and decided to intervene. And before you say anything else, yes, I know the league would have handled it, but it would have taken longer with the way you guys hold back, and with more chance of injuries. My plan worked, and you guys still came out on top. Naruto explained. That man knew the young ninja was right as he looked upon the rubble of the battlefield, and seeing his colleagues examine their would-be assassin. Be that as it may, we still need to discuss your other. He went to turn to Naruto, but he was gone. To say that someone managed to disappear from him was a surprise, was an understatement. So that's what that feels like, he said, looking to find a trace of the young lantern. No matter, he still managed to record what he could from the fight with his visor for further examination. He thought to himself as he walked back to Superman, who was using his X-ray vision to examine the android's bits and pieces. Dawn just made the call to Star Labs. They will be coming with trucks later to take the parts, though he has an idea of who made it. The others headed out already, though Red Tornado has volunteered to stay and guard the area. He said. Where's the Green Lantern? He's gone already. Headed back to Mount Justice, would be my guess, said Batman. Anyway, since we have some free time, you told we needed to talk. Meet you down at Bibbo's diner, he said. Superman had a very distinct feeling that he knew what Batman wanted to talk about, and that it involved a certain young clone of his. Mount Justice, 1306 Eastern Time Zone. Robin and Gan watched as Kid Flash and Nicole played a holo game, all of them in uniform for their first combat lesson today. Kid Flash scoring the win again when Superboy showed up from the Zeta Tube. Hi Superboy, how was Metropolis? Asked Gan. Superboy just grumbled and continued walking past them. Sheesh, he sounds about the same as Naruto did when he got back, said Kid Flash. Though he seemed more tired than angry, Calder mentioned. They heard a throat being cleared to get their attention. It was a woman who would be their teacher. Ready for training, everyone? Asked the heroine, who was being escorted by John. Black Canary. Uncle John, exclaimed the young Martian as she ran to her relative and gave him a hug. Gan. He greeted. I was in the neighborhood and I wanted to see how you were adjusting to life on Earth. A few bumps in the road, but I'm learning, she said. That is all I can ask. And from what I can see so far, you are doing well, he said with pride, which Gan beamed at. Seeing this exchange made Superboy even more disgruntled and turned to go to his room. However, their teacher for today noticed him leaving. Stick around, she told him. Class is in session. She then looked around to see one was missing. Where is Green Lantern? Here they heard from Naruto. Only rather than being in uniform as she saw earlier today, he was in his civilian clothing without a mask, while putting on his red jacket. Sorry. Tried to take a nap, said Naruto, rubbing the sleep from his eyes. It's fine. If you want, you can skip the first lesson today given what's happened, Black Canary offered. Thanks, but I'm good. No need to worry on my account, said Naruto with a small smile, to which Canary returned. And for the record, my name is Naruto when in private, or out of uniform. She nodded again with a small smile, before walking onto the central area with the holographic computer activated beneath her as she turned to the team. I consider it an honor to be your teacher. I'll throw a lot at you with experiences from my own mentors, and from my bruises for when you're on the job, she said, taking of her jacket and throwing it aside. To his credit, Naruto did a rather good job of suppressing his blush upon seeing her in full form without the jacket. To Naruto's chagrin, his inner Jiraiya decided to rear its pervy head, and commented, you know it's okay to look. She's with someone. It isn't right, thought Naruto. There's no sin in looking. What guy wouldn't? She's a beautiful woman who isn't trying to kill you, said inner Jiraiya. Naruto stayed silent for a moment. She is, isn't she? Naruto agreed. And tough too, his inner Jiraiya added. Stop right there, he ordered, concentrating on the ongoing lesson. Now, combat is about controlling the action, putting the battle on your terms. You must always be acting, never reacting, she began. To demonstrate this, I'm going to need a sparring partner, she continued with a smile. And if he didn't know better, he'd swear she was looking at him as she said that. Right here, ya, said Kid Flash, who just finished eating his banana as he walked up to her. After this, he threw the peel into a trash can. Swish. I'll show you my moves. Oh brother, Naruto thought to himself and resisted face palming. For her part, Dinah frowned a bit in confusion before smirking. She threw a straight right at him that he blocked. However, she simply slid to the floor and kicked him across the legs, knocking him off his feet and landing on his back with a satisfying thud. The computer on the ground reading his failure. Oh, hurt so good, he groaned. That block, but did anyone see what he did wrong? She asked, helping him to his feet. Oh, he hit on teacher and got served, Robin questioned sarcastically. You come on, said Wooly, embarrassed. He allowed me to dictate the terms of the fight, said Black Canary. Oh please, said the voice of Superboy, to which the veteran hero turned to see his dissatisfied look. With my powers, the battle is always on my terms. I'm a living weapon and this is a waste of my time, said the boy of steel. Excuse me, Naruto thought to himself. Kurama. During our time, before I became a Green Lantern, and after how many people have we faced that had more claim to that than he? More than a dozen people back home including Garrek and Killer Bee. Half the members of the league. The robot we fought a few hours ago. Heck, I think Gan would fit that bill better in some ways. Need I go on? No, partner, you pretty much nailed it. Thought Kurama. But he saw Canary just smirk. Prove it, she said. Superboy just raised an eyebrow and moved into her space. They stared each other down for a moment before assumed fighting stances. Or rather, Dinah assumed a fighting stance as the boy didn't bother taking a one, Naruto noted. Superboy threw a right straight, but Canary dodged it, grabbed his arm, and threw him to the floor, where he landed with a thud on his back. Robin laughed, causing Calder to elbow his side, but all he did was cover his mouth, while Mgan looked on in concern. Kid Flash just winced, while Naruto had a smile on his face. Superboy got back up and suffice to say he was pissed. You're angry? Good, said Black Canary. But don't react to it. Channel the anger into A. She didn't get the chance as the boy yelled and charged at her. She flipped over him, and ducked his backhand, and swept his legs from under him, and he hit the floor again, earning another laugh from Robin. That's it. I'm done, he said, getting up. Training is mandatory, she said, trying to help him up, which she refused. The lady's got some skills and the nerve to match it, Kurama noted with approval. Anger can be useful, but uncontrolled it weakens you. You should listen to what she says, said Naruto suddenly. And what would you know about power? Asked Superboy in rage. She thinks she can teach a guy with super strength how to fight, but she knows nothing about it. And without that ring, what do you have? He kind of reminds me of Sasuke, the way he rages. But I get the feeling there's more to that anger than just stupidity like with him, thought Naruto as he stepped into the central chamber. She fights guys stronger than her all the time, and still manages to come out on top. Through training, and the skills and experience that come with that, Naruto said, defending their teacher. As for me without my ring, well, that's a little better question, isn't it? He pulled off his power ring, and sent it flying to his quarters within the mountain. Both Canary and Superboy noticed his luminous emerald green eyes shift back to their natural sky blue. Black Canary. Superboy wanted to know if I have anything else besides my ring, and I feel like indulging him. Shall I show him what else I have? Naruto asked. Canary just stared at him for a moment, then at the boy of steel, and nodded her head. Getting the feeling that maybe he could teach the boy better than she would. And seeing how he handled himself earlier, something told her that he would be more of a match for Superboy than herself. Be my guess, she said, stepping out of the circle. It was now just two of them on the practice floor. Fight me, boy, Naruto said with his arms folded behind his back. Superboy hesitated for a moment, waiting for him to strike. When it didn't come, he moved in with a flurry of punches, which the young ninja easily dodged without wasted motion, before twisting and landing an elbow to the back of the boy's head, sending him tumbling before stopping himself. As she was trying to say before you interrupted her, anger is a double-edged sword. It can be useful when channeled. When it isn't, you become sloppy and predictable, Naruto said. All this did was make Superboy lash out again, only for Naruto to duck under his punch and land one of his own to his sternum, and landing a left hook that sent him to the floor. The boy was stunned, since he had felt that punch and the power behind it. Attacking to hasten victory in your rage. Countered with proper training. That's what she did when you attacked before. That's what I'm doing now. That is what she is trying to impart to all of you, he said, also addressing his teammates. The Superboy was listening. Naruto didn't know cause he got back up, still pissed. He charged again, trying to punch him, and also again without wasted motion. Naruto dodged and parried all his strikes, before catching the clone's right arm as he made a right straight, and landed two elbows to Superboy's stomach and face, before tossing him aside. The boy's head seemed to spin, but he still managed to keep standing. Without control and without training, any power you initially have is not only ineffective, but also dangerous in anger. To yourself, your friends, or whoever else, Naruto said. Superboy made one last attempt, and threw another sloppy right. Except this time Naruto didn't dodge or block. He simply grabbed the clone's fist in his right hand. The force of the blow was felt by the audience, who were stunned. But none were more stunned than the one who threw the punch. And the shock continued when Naruto clinched and put pressure on the hand, and Superboy felt his fist being squeezed as Naruto put more and more pressure, nearly forcing him to his knees. Canary was about to intervene when Naruto finally let him go. To answer your question, Superboy, before I got this ring, I was already skilled and powerful. You saw a glimpse of that power right now. And I got that power through my training, like just as Canary got her skills from her training. Respect that and learn from that, said Naruto, raising his right hand and calling his ring back to him, and eyes glowed green once again. Before anything else could be said, a hologram of Batman appeared before them. Batman to the cave, he began. 5 hours ago, a new menace appeared and attacked Black Canary and Green Arrow. Arrow then called reinforcements, which nearly proved disastrous as the enemy gained more and more power as more combatants appeared. He's showing video footage of the battle. Whoa. Something with the powers of the Justice League, said Wally, astonished at this. In the end, it took the League members that arrived 3 hours to defeat and subdue the android. Admittingly, it would have taken longer had we not had some assistance. He reluctantly acknowledged. An android. Did Tiomaru make it? Asked Robin. But guess Robin, but Red Tornado doesn't think so, said Batman. Naruto couldn't help but notice the grimace of Superboy as the Dark Knight gave praise to his partner. From what we examined of the wreckage, the signature of this machine belongs to Professor Ivo, said Martian Manhunter. Ivo? But Ivo is dead, said Calder. So, we all believed. Or hoped, said Black Canary. To make sure that this threat is neutralized permanently, we will be sending the android's parts to 2 separate Star Lab facilities in Boston and New York for evaluation. Batman explained, showing the map of the routes both trucks will be taking. We will be taking every precaution by using 4 decoys to hide them from the group in case Ivo or anyone else looks to take the parts. You will be providing undercover escort for the 2 real trucks. He continued, giving them their assignment. Sweet. Road trip, exclaimed Wally. So now we're picking up your trash, asked Superboy, angered at the concept. However, Naruto responded before Batman did. Don't take this lightly. The fact that this android has the capacity to copy the powers of the Justice League is no joke. If someone could replicate it from those parts, a villain for a hero for example, and then they suddenly can use a weapon that uses their power against that hero, or worse cancels it out, then the problems could be insurmountable, he said. Superboy's eyes widened when Naruto mentioned this. It was then that Calder got a ping from his PDA. Coordinates received. We should get moving, he said. But as they turned to leave, Batman spoke up again. Naruto, you're staying in the cave, he ordered. This made Naruto turn around. Excuse me? On what grounds am I staying when the team is about to go on a mission? He questioned. The team can handle the escort. You and I need to discuss what happened today, he said. That is an order. I will be there momentarily. The screen disappeared. He turned to the others and just nodded for them to leave, to which they did. Calder. Naruto called out. If anything happens, let me know, he said, pointing to the earpiece in his right ear. Calder nodded. As Superboy turned to leave, Black Canary touched his arm. When you're ready, I'll be here, she said to him. From there he left. When Black Canary turned, she saw Naruto holding out her jacket for her. Thanks, she said, taking it and putting on. No problem, he grumbled, putting his hands in his jacket's pockets. There was a moment of silence in the room between the 3 heroes that were in the room. I do apologize for our colleague's behavior toward you. He tends to be suspicious when it comes to elements he is not familiar with, said the Martian. He wants to know about my abilities. Story of my life these days, said Naruto. I'm guessing it's a recurring theme, said Canary. Lady, you have no idea, thought Kurama, to which Naruto smiled at. You could say that, Black Canary, said Naruto. Dinah. Dinah Lance, if you want a full name, said Dinah, holding out her hand, to which Naruto shook it. My name is John, if there are to be more formal introductions, since we did not get the chance on the battlefield. John included. Nice to meet you both, he said. So, I get the feeling that the reason Superboy had something to do with the other guy who has the House of L on his chest. Both heroes whitened at hearing that. Most people see the symbol as an S dot, said Dinah. Most people don't have a power ring that has an encyclopedia and database of all known races, both existing and extinct, that is planted in your head, said Naruto, gesturing to his ring. And the last user was through when it came to Kryptonians. Handy. Kinda wish my phone was like that, so I wouldn't have to search, said Dinah. So, I'm guessing you want the whole story. Naruto nodded. From there, both John and Dinah told him of how they found the team with Superboy at Cadmus and the subsequent distance that Superman had put between himself and the boy. Not deliberately rude, but not there for him either. I just don't understand why he's acting like this. Yes, enemies of ours more than likely funded the project and stole his DNA, but it wasn't his fault. He never asked for this, said Dinah in sympathy for the boy. He should be better than this. Have you ever been cloned? Naruto asked. Dinah shook her head, with John joining her. I have. When I had to barf out snakes from me. This made them give him looks. Long story. Now this thing wasn't human by any means, and for most intent and purposes wanted nothing more than to destroy. Nothing like Superboy. But it still had my face, and it was made from an enemy of mine. When I saw it, I felt angry and very disturbed at what I saw. Then it tried to kill people I cared about. And it had my face, he reiterated. Now imagine what Superman is going through. Someone took a piece of his DNA, a piece of him, and used it to play Kami, and created a clone of him. Not as strong, but someone who looks like him. The eyes who he fights on a regular basis, who harm innocent people, created this clone with the most likely intent to kill him. He feels violated by that fact, he continued. Which on top of the fact of him for all his life, to try to be a part of a race that he is not part of, said John, to which Naruto acknowledged. Dinah sighed. I'll admit I didn't think about it that way. But it still isn't right to take it out on him. No one here is saying that. Hell, I think Clark would agree with that he just has to get past his initial feelings of distrust first, said Naruto. The other two were shocked to call Superman by his human name. How did you know? Asked John. Dude, seriously, you have to ask. Most people on this planet may be ignorant, but I'm not. I saw a photo of the guy from the Daily Planet. How no one knows is beyond me, said Naruto with a smile, to which Dinah laughed at that with John having a small smile. Point taken, she said, managing to stop her giggling. Anyway, my gut is telling me that maybe the big guy knows something the rest of us don't. That may be a key reason why he keeps his distance, said Naruto. Which you listen to since I'm in it technically, said Kurama. I know, Naruto responded. And what would that be? Asked Dinah. Before he could respond, the Zeta Tube activated. Recognize, Batman. Authorization, 02, said the computer voice as the beam made Batman appeared. Another time, Naruto whispered to both of them. Batman walked into the main hall and pulled up a file on screen in front of them. The profile had Naruto's picture on it. Naruto Uzumaki. Born in Tokyo, Japan. Family moved to America where he was raised. Graduated high school at 15 and moved to take college at the University of Michigan. From there, I know what my profile says, said Naruto, using his own access to shut off the display. You didn't keep me here to recite it to me. No, I didn't, said Batman, turning to face him. Hal was correct when he said that your superior officer was thorough with his profile. Bank accounts, transcripts, all there. Which we all know are a lie. What I want to know is who you are, and more importantly what you're capable of. Get in line, said Naruto. From there, Batman displayed an image of Naruto in full uniform fighting against Amazo. I will admit that my knowledge about the Green Lantern Corps is limited, but from what I gather neither Hal nor John have displayed anything resembling the abilities that you did today, he said, gesturing to footage of Naruto beginning to glow as his pupils elongated. Care to explain? Trade secret, Naruto said with a smirk. Batman frowned. You think this is a game? He growled. Naruto then looked to the other two in the room. He give you guys the 9th degree? He asked. They both shook their heads. No. Didn't think so. Batman, I do not see the concern here. He has helped us win a great victory and saved Dinah's life. I see no reason for this interrogation, said John. Everyone on the team and the League's abilities are well known. I don't like unknowns, said the Dark Knight. Because you don't like not being in control, right, Bruce? Said Naruto. He noticed how the Dark Hero tensed before turning around. Wasn't hard to figure out. As I said when I got here, I did my homework. Bruce Wayne's parents are killed in front of him. He leaves Gotham for about a decade. Batman first appears soon after he returns. Bruce Wayne is the only one that has the motivation to either fund Batman or be him, of which anyone who seeks vengeance or justice would do the latter. Simple as that. Get him, boy. Get him. Kurama cheered. Naruto pressed on. And since we are on the subject, let's get another perspective, shall we? He then changed the display to another profile. The image showing the face of a tall man with long dark hair and brown eyes, medium dark toned skin, heavily muscled with broad shoulders, dressed in long dark blue coat with gloves and boots. The most noticeable feature was 3 scars across his face. Vandal Savage. Immortal and enemy of the Justice League. He first appeared, hiring a band of criminals, each associated with one member of the original 7 members of the League. He concocted a plan to kill or incapacitate each one, in order to create an event using a solar flare, to essentially take over the Earth. It almost worked too, since Vandal had each criminal exploit weaknesses of 6 League members, both physical and psychological. Very extensively, I might. He then turned to Batman. Should I go on to explain where he got the information for these members? The silence was deafening for the moment. He took the plans from me using Mirror Master, said Batman. Yes, he did. Plans are created to stop each member of the League. And now you're trying to do the same for me, by figuring out how my abilities work to do the same, said Naruto. The plans were needed in case. Yes, I know what you said. There is even a small part of me that would agree with it had the rest known about it. You breached their trust, and instead of apologizing about it, you defended it. Which then led you out of the League for some time until you were allowed to return a year later. Is there a point to this? Said Batman, feeling uneasy at being put on the defensive. My point is this. You made these plans under the assumption that one or all of the League would go too far. That was your primary focus, with the second being you in control. I find it amusing, said Naruto. Amusing? Questioned the Dark Knight, now feeling insulted. Amusing because out of everyone in the League currently are inactive, based on what I have read so far, you are the one most likely to go rogue, Naruto said in a serious tone. Silence filled the room, but Naruto could see that a million thoughts ran through the Dark Knight, seeing the white eyes and his mask white in it, being told this. Though not a complete surprise, as he suspected some of the others, even those he considered his friends, had felt that way. But this is the first time someone outright said it to his face. Naruto, that isn't entirely fair, said Dinah. Perhaps not. I'm not saying he would. I am saying that he is the most likely to do it, said Naruto. But mainly it's cause of a saying that my teacher once told me, and I never forgot it. Those who break the rules are scum, but those who abandon their comrades are worse than scum. You're not there yet, Bruce, but you are treading it. I would be more careful and more appreciative of those you call allies in the future. You may not get another chance next time you bungle up, said Naruto. Naruto, do you read? Said the voice of Calderon in his earpiece. Go ahead to call it, he said, tapping said earpiece. The android parts have been stolen by what appears to be android monkeys. We have tracked them, and have all but confirmed that Professor Ivo is behind them. Superboy has run off ahead, we need backup, told the leader of the team. On my way, Naruto said, immediately changing into his uniform. If you will all excuse me, the team needs my help. Batman nodded, remaining silent as Naruto left the chambers. Dinah and John walked up to Batman, who was still standing silent. Our new friend is quite blunt when he feels he needs to be, said John. Yes, but it doesn't mean he's not wrong, Batman said to their astonishment. He just made Batman admit that someone other than him was right. Dinah thought to herself. I had feeling I was going to like him. She then saw John with a smile on his face. If he was reading her mind, she thinks he would agree. Gotham Academy. Superboy was not having a good day as he was sent flying through another wall to the gym of the school. Soon after, the stupid monkey-like robots had taken the parts, he in his rage blindly went after them. From there he found a train, and managed to find Professor Ivo working on something. After taunting him, Ivo sent more of his monkey robots, or monkey as he designated them, which Superboy easily destroyed when they didn't blind him. Unfortunately, he was not prepared for the fully rebuilt Amazo android. From he there fought the thing all over town. Or more like it kicked his ass all over town till then ended up in this school, to which he vaguely saw a kid's picture that looked familiar before being thrown into the trophy case where said picture was. He then heard clapping and looked to the benches to see the scientist on them. I would normally not attend these things in person, but this was too good to miss, he said with a stupid grin. Access, Superman, he heard the android say. Superboy hoisted himself back up and charged again. He got one punch on the thing's face before once again being pummeled with punches, kicks and backhands that sent him kneeling on the ground. Before Amazo could finish him, Kid Flash showed up in the nick of time. Yoink. KF called out as he grabbed Superboy, avoiding just being crushed by Amazo's fists, and got him to Robin, who threw his batarangs at the machine. Amazo phased out using Martian Manhunter's density shifting, before switching to Red Tornado, and blowing them away by charging them. It then switched to Captain Atom, and fired at Kid Flash, who ran out of the blastway. When he charged, however, he got hit with a canary cry that sent him to the wall. From there it went downhill as the three of them tried to alternate attacks, but each time Amazo changed powers to the situation. Between Amazo catching a punch from Superboy, then sending him to the stands, to blocking more batarangs by using its arms to defend and retaliate, to then catching Kid Flash in a bear hug and nearly crushing him using Superman's strength. The one thing that saved him was Amazo switching to Martian Manhunter to phase out as an arrow flew through him. Superboy tried to attack again, but was thrown to the other benches. Then Amazo turned and used heat vision on Robin, cueing Kid Flash to save his friend. Superboy managed himself out of the rubble. He looked at what was going. Finally realizing that what he was doing wasn't working, he started using his head. Access, Black Canary and Green Lantern, he said to himself. He then looked to see the demented professor yawning. Normally Amazo would study and duplicate your powers during battle, but what's the point? Aside from that Green Lantern from earlier today, you're all just poor copies of the originals, he said. So, everyone keeps saying. It makes me angry, he yelled, charging again. But this time instead of Amazo, he charged at Ivo. Ivo screamed and ran out of the way as the boy cratered the spot he was in. Wanna see me channel that anger? He screamed. Great, he's gone berserk again, said Kid Flash. Maybe not, said Robin, catching one to what the boy of steel was doing. Amazo, protect your master, priority alpha, Ivo ordered as he ran from Superboy, to which he was blasted by a blast from Amazo. Anyone for keep away, said Robin as he kicked the old man from the monkeys that tried to help him, while Kid Flash rushed to grab him, but was knocked away when Amazo, using Superman's power again, slammed his foot to the floor. The shockwave from that sent the speedster flying. Ivo moved to escape, but found himself trapped in a green bubble. He turned to see that Naruto had arrived. Going somewhere, Professor, he said. Amazo, help. He called out only to see Superboy's fist piercing the android's head, which then exploded, and the now headless android fell to the floor with a loud metal thump. Not your day today, is it? Naruto said to Ivo, who just sat there in shock at what happened. Quick, help me disassemble him. Now, said Robin, running towards the robot. Dude, he has no head, said Kid Flash. Don't take any chances, ordered Aqualid as he and Miss Martian entered the gym. Superboy, are you alright? She asked, helping him after the explosion knocked him away. Fine, he said with a smile. Feeling the aster, he continued looking to Robin, who returned it. Better later than never, Hugrini, said Kid Flash. Hey, don't blame me. Blame his mentor for keeping me at the cave, Naruto said, pointing at Robin, to which she shrugged his shoulders. At least we managed to get Ivo, said Aqualid. HMPH. Ivo grunted. Mount Justice August 4, 106 Eastern Time Zone. The team and 3 members of the League, and now Green Arrow and Red Tornado met in the central area of the mountain. The android is in pieces again, and are on their way to Star Labs for further study. Furthermore, Professor Ivo has been sent to Belle Reve prison for his crimes. The call summarized. So, we heard when Naruto showed up at the prison along with the records of his crimes. Good work, said Dinah, to which Naruto nodded too. Though we understand the mission had complications, said John. They all looked to Superboy, who had the decency to look ashamed at his behavior. Complications come with the job. Your performance has impressed the League, said Batman. The whole League? Superboy asked. Given time, yes. Kryptonians, as you know, have very hard heads, which can also be said for some humans, said Batman. This gave Superboy some hope. Of course, there is no weakness in asking for help. That is why the League exists. Because there are some situations that even we as individuals cannot handle alone, said Batman. Please, said Robin, interrupting the conversation. If we needed help, we would never get the chance. He then pulled out the arrow that saved Kid Flash and giving it to Green Arrow. Recognize it. You were following us. Babysitting. You still don't trust us, he accused. We didn't follow you. Batman answered as Green Arrow showed one of his arrows, and from comparing the heads, it was clear that the two were very different. And that's not your arrow, said Robin, accepting the facts. The question then is, whose arrow is it? Asked Naruto. It's gotta be Speedy, exclaimed Kid Flash. He has our backs, said Aqualid. Why do I get the feeling it's not the Speedy character's arrow either? I mean, it's clear that design of the arrow is different, but still inspired by Green Arrow. And if what I heard about this Speedy is trying to get away from anything resembling his mentor, said Kurama. Yeah, but best not to tell them that. Won't believe me anyway. Naruto thought as Wally rushed to claim the arrow as another souvenir. Excuse me, Superboy said to Black Canary. I'm ready. Good. Because I'm here, the veteran said. See you tomorrow for class then, she asked. Superboy nodded in affirmation. Get some rest then. And that goes for all of you, she said as the groups dispersed. Naruto, can I speak to you for a moment, she asked. Naruto waited for a moment, seeing Batman leave via Zeta Tube and Red Tornado for his apartment above the central chamber. Only Green Arrow waited her at the Zeta Tube. Is there something else, Dinah? Naruto asked. Yeah, there is, she said. It's pretty clear from what everyone saw today that you're no amateur when it comes to fighting, whether it be on the field or in wordplay. So you don't need training, and anything I come up with for the team you probably already know by now. For the most part, yes. Where are you going with this? Naruto asked. I was wondering if you were interested in helping me train the others. Your experience combined with my own would be more beneficial to the rest. It's also clear you can help Superboy more than I can when it comes to direct work. I can teach technique, and you can help with hands-on practice, she explained. Naruto thought about this for a moment. What she said rang true. His experience along with hers would help them immeasurably. Perhaps keep them from making mistakes that he had made earlier in his own career. Besides, with us grounded here, except for our monthly visits to home, what else aside from fighting crime here do you have? Kurama pointed out. Would I be able to include new lessons in as well? Naruto asked, already getting some ideas. Absolutely, Dinah said without hesitation. Then you just got yourself a partner, he said, holding out his hand, which she accepted, shaking firmly. Awesome. See you tomorrow then, she called back, running to her boyfriend. Making some new friends? Green Arrow questioned. Relax, Ollie. You know I only have eyes on you, she said, kissing him, which he eagerly returned. From there they exited via Zeta Tube. Naruto just shook his head and walked to his room. It had been a long day, but turned out okay. Thanks for listening. I do hope you enjoyed. If you want the next part of this video, like, subscribe, and comment down below, and turn on that bell notification. And also check out the other videos that I have created and enjoy. See you in the next video. Peace.